How's it going, beautiful and amazing people? This is Takai, and today I wanted to share with you guys how I created this double exposure effect for a jewelry commercial that I was the cinematographer and editor for in After Effects. Alright, so here we are in Adobe After Effects, and the two clips that we're going to be working with is this hand with the ring and the brushing of the arm, and then the bottom one right here, which is the girl riding her bike on the sand. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is double click on the top clip, and it's going to bring it into the layer mode. And then we're going to click on the Roto brush tool, and then you're going to have this green circle. And if you want to make it bigger or smaller, all you have to do is push on Command and then click on the mouse and then drag up to make it bigger, and then drag down to make it smaller. So in my case, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And then what I want to do is I actually want the image to appear within the hands and the arm. I don't want it to actually affect the girl's body. So what we're going to do is with the green circle, we're going to make our selection right here. And sometimes it's not going to do the best job grabbing everything. So when you see it doing like this, what we're going to do, I'm going to push spacebar and click on the video to drag it around like this. And I'm going to push on Alt to turn it red. And then I'm going to deselect this area right here where we can see the girl's torso. And then it fixes it a little bit. Now I'm going to run it across her hand. So here we have the selection here. That looks perfect. And then what I don't want this area selected right here. So I'm going to push and hold Alt for the red tool. I'm going to select this area, and then this is the area that is going to be excluded from the mask. Okay, and then now what we're going to do is we're going to get this little area right here. I'm going to push and hold Command, click on the mouse, drag down, make it nice and small. I'm going to hold the Alt tool to bring up the red tool. I'm going to deselect this area right here. Okay, perfect. This looks pretty good. So the next thing that you're going to want to make sure that you do to get the best possible roto out of this is you're going to want to go over to the roto effect, and you're going to want to make sure that you're working with version 2.0, and that's going to give you a much better quality roto. And then you're also going to want to change the quality to best. And then from there, all you're going to have to do now is go up to this button right here called freeze, and you're going to push it. And now it's going to automatically go through the rest of the footage and apply the roto mask to every single frame. And when you use Roto Brush 2.0 and bump the quality up to the best, this is what is going to help you get the best quality roto and also do the least amount of work. So while we're waiting for this Roto Brush to finish, I'm going to have some of my tea. And while I'm having some of this tea, you should hit the like button, because I think we're friends. Friends always hit the like buttons for each other's friends. Yep. And I'm out of tea. Okay, so now that it's done, what you're gonna wanna do is push the freeze button again to unfreeze it. And then what you're gonna wanna do is down here and click it. I'm gonna push the play button. That way it could render out the footage and we can see if our roto brush actually did a good job of rotoing. You could also see down here that it's not exactly perfect, but everywhere else in the frame looks pretty good. So something that we can do while we're actually watching this render, we can go to the frame where the roto starts to kind of drift off a bit. I'm going to push space and drag the clip so I can actually pull it and make it more visible. Hold the Alt key to turn it red. I'm going to select this area. And the cool thing about this too is that once you do one of the frames, it does a really good job of self-correcting. So now I'm going to push play again to play through and render the frames, make sure everything looks all good in the hood. All right, so now we are done doing the roto. We're gonna go back up here and click on the composition. So now that we're in the composition tab, you can see that the roto brush did a very good job of cutting out the background and only preserving the hand and the arm. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we're just gonna smooth out the roto a little bit. I like to increase the feather so the edges don't look as sharp. I like to reduce the chatter all the way up, because sometimes you can kind of see the mask kind of moving around like this. Doesn't look that good. So reducing the chatter all the way up is gonna help reduce that, and then the feather is gonna make the mask look less sharp. So the next thing that you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna want to take the top clip that you just did the roto brush on, and then you're going to go up to invert foreground and background, and you're going to click on that box, and it's going to switch the places of the roto. You're probably thinking, why would I take the time to roto the arm and the hand if I'm just going to actually invert it? Well, the arms are just a little bit easier to do the roto brush on, so that's kind of why I personally do it. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to duplicate our clip, and then we're gonna go to the bottom and we're gonna click off the roto brush and refine edge, and that's just gonna put it back to normal. Like, why would we do that? Well, here is why. So this one is inverted. If I push on solo, you can see that the background is visible, and then if I only push on this one, the entire clip is visible. But when I click on the second one and I click T for opacity and I drag it down, now we can actually see the shot that was right below it. And then you can adjust it however you want, and I'm going to adjust it so you can still kind of clearly see the arm and the ring, since that's an important piece. But I'm going to drag it down around 56. You can do whatever you want. It's really just personal preference at this point. And then that's really our double exposure, but obviously we can do a little bit more work to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back to 100%. So I'm going to play it forward a little bit, maybe about right here. I'm going to click on this stopwatch tool on the opacity, and then I'm going to go forward a few more frames, and then I'm going to drag it back down to 56. And then what that's going to do is it's going to make it so that the clip starts off normally and eventually gradually fades into the double exposure effect. All right, so now this is what the final shot looks like. And then another final touch that we can add to this clip is in the keyframe for the opacity. We're going to right click it, go down to keyframe assistant, do easy ease in. And then on the other one, we're going to do an easy ease out. And that's what the shot looks like.